Hey guys, today is the 1st of December. It's almost Christmas!
Ah, the nerd fighters!
So this week on NFI, we're talking about Here We Go Again, which is basically talking about how we react to different times of year and how we feel every year about different landmarks like Christmas. For me, I think it's really interesting just to compare different times of year, because I think the main thing I compare is how I felt at the beginning of last year and then the year before that, and just seeing how I feel like I've changed over the years. I don't necessarily know if it's just because I'm in school and it feels like things are up and up and up really quickly sometimes, but it's really interesting to see how I feel like I'm coping in a way, because as things get harder, I don't know if I'm actually getting better or whether I'm sort of staying the same and just falling and gradually falling into a pit of despair. I think one other thing I find really interesting is I find that because I don't know if it's because of school, but it feels like every year of school I change quite a bit more. So I'd be really interested to hear from you. Do you feel like every year you change as much as you did growing up, or do you feel like the changes are a lot more subtle? I think it's also really interesting to look at how your relationships with other people have changed. Like for me, I feel like this year I've got so many more internet connections than I did before, but I also feel like it's really interesting to look at how your friends have changed and how you share different things this year than you did last year and that sort of thing. Even friends that you've had for a very long time, like that's really interesting to see progress, because you probably change more than you realise, and it's really interesting to see how your changes affect how you see other times of year as well, and how changing relations with people affect how you see different holidays and that sort of thing. Like for me, I don't really do anything within my family for Christmas, so everything I get from Christmas is from the culture around me and like the friends I have. And I feel like for some reason last year I felt it even more strongly than ever before, and it was absolutely epic. Like I absolutely loved it. But I don't really know what was so different about last year. I don't think, in my faith at the least, I have an equivalent to Christmas, because we don't. There are times obviously like Eid, which is at the end of Ramadan, where we meet our family and that sort of thing, but it's not as commercialised in any way, shape or form really. It's more just about meeting family and catching up. I mean, I was thinking about it last week and how awesome I would find it if we had an equivalent of Thanksgiving, because my family is absolutely huge, so being able to get so many people in one place, like I rarely see, I'd be lucky if I see some of my cousins and my uncles and aunts like maybe once a year, if not like every couple of years. So actually having a time where everyone could come together and actually like be able to see how people are growing up would be so cool, because obviously you're not the only one who's changing, and that's really it's really interesting, because sometimes you might find that one year you don't get along with other people, but then the next year you get along really well because you've changed and you've sort of come together a bit more. So I think for me, I absolutely love family occasions because I genuinely get along really well with my family, and it's really fun. It's kind of weird because I'm sort of an in-between age between my cousins' children and my cousins, so it's really interesting to sort of be that in-between age and be able to sort of fit in with both groups of people and just have fun with it and see what happens really. So yeah, in general, I just love seeing how things have changed and trying to look back, because obviously when you're in that moment, you don't really see it changing until it's almost too late in a way. So meeting other people and seeing how everything is progressing is something that I really love about holidays, and meeting other people, as well as just seeing how I react with different holidays every year, and how what influences me changes every year, and how that changes everything, all the things. So I'd love to hear, how do you guys react to different events every year? Do you find yourself feeling the same way every year, or do you find yourself sort of oscillating between different moods and that sort of thing? So thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful time doing what we were doing, and Liz, we'll see you tomorrow.